You shouldn't trust Nathan. You shouldn't trust anything he says.
Welcome to another Slice of Sci-Fi video review. I'm Noah Richmond.
And I'm Darren Goldsvig.
And today we are talking about X Ma-Kin-Ah.
Ex Machina or Ex Machina? See, I made that mistake in the beginning. I kept on saying Ex Machina, and I'm just...
Yeah, I think Ex Machina is a pretty common mistake that people are making on this one.
The Anglo version of it.
Right. No, but it is Ex Machina. We did have somebody in the screening ask if they could, if they were in the wrong place because they were supposed to see Ex Machina.
Right. I was about ready to get up with them, but glad I didn't.
Can we just get past the whole employer-employee thing? Cheers. In many ways, this building isn't a house. It's a research facility. I want to talk to you about the greatest scientific event in the history of man.
Are you building an AI?
So one thing that I would say right off the bat to understand about Ex Machina, it was directed by Alex Garland. He is the screenwriter for 28 Days Later and the movie Dread, both of which were films that I absolutely loved, but I did not understand going into this film that it was by the same creator as those films. And we'll get into in a little bit why I think it's helpful to know that going in.
I was pleasantly surprised to see that was the same guy, because I loved Dread, obviously.
Right.
I mean, but if this was his first movie, I mean, this could be quite a nice precursor of things to come. So, yeah, for me, it was a home run right out of the park. So, but again, for many different reasons. So,
right.
But I mean, what did you think about it from the point when you came in and?
Right. So the reason that I'm saying that it would have been helpful to understand that going in, much as I love those two films, the thing that really was captivating me about Ex Machina, I was really appreciating that somebody had actually taken the time to do a good, modest to low budgeted science fiction movie that was really about ideas. And so I was getting very caught up in this story of that it was very lyrical, it was very philosophical, it was contemplative, it had a almost meditative quality to it. And for me, I was sort of sold on it being that. So I don't think this is a huge spoiler to say that at the end of the film, it takes a dark twist.
Sure.
It takes a graphically violent and disturbing twist that I was not prepared for.
Well, I don't think everybody was, without...
Right. So, and some people may be fine with that, but for me I was a little disappointed because there's so many low-budget horror films, so much out there to watch, to be disturbed by. I was kind of appreciating, oh, good, it's so few and far between that we get these films that are just all about real science fiction, just purely the ideas, not going off into a lot of shooting and a lot of action and a lot of horror. And then it actually did go off into a lot of horror. But if I had realized that Alex Garland was the writer of these other films, then it wouldn't have surprised me so much.
See, now, I don't know if I necessarily agree as far as the horror aspect of it, because I think the essence of the film, because I kind of like this whole idea of artificial intelligence kind of being, realizing its consciousness, because, I think it's going to be possible, and maybe not in our lifetime, but the next one after, because that's kind of, and I liked how they talked about the Alan Turing test,
right,
as far as when does it become when you can't distinguish between artificial intelligence and humanity.
Right. And
I thought for the movie to take on that concept and do it quite well, it was pretty refreshing, and I absolutely loved it. And there were some really tense moments because I actually found myself liking Ava, and I think that was the intention of Alex, to make you really like this character. And obviously the actress, she was just amazing. I mean, she was not hard on the eyes, and was just did a really good job of making you believe she was, a robot.
Yeah.
But then again, she also made me believe this was a robot that might possibly understand its existence. you know,
Right.
and that was, to me, in fact, it was kind of interesting because, I feel like thinking is, well, is everyone a robot in this movie? Because you were led to believe in so many different directions that I wouldn't have been surprised. But again, I don't want to reveal anything.
Right. But yeah, you have, I think that what you're saying is kind of right on the money it was, I thought, a very good exploration about just the nature of what is life, what is intelligence,
Right.
And at what point is there sentience?
And again, I think that's what really a lot of people want in a science fiction movie, to kind of put that out there and do it in a way that's not just visually sexy, but the audio, the oral part of it was just amazing. I mean, it really reminded me of just a rocket being shot on your chest. The bass was just thundering, and it really added the kind of the imagery as the movie was going through. And in fact, the whole set piece was basically this house, and it was really basic.
Right.
But you wouldn't have known it because there was so much depth to the characters.
Right.
So,
yeah, it really was. It was a gorgeous film. It was so simple, and yet, as I said, there was just kind of a zen quality about it. The music was beautiful, and the sound work was beautiful, and there was just something.
I got to tell you though, I'm cheating here, so. But Oscar Isaac, he's of course the guy that played Nathan Bateman. I got to tell you, the character in the movie, he was kind of a douche. So I felt myself going, God, that guy's a dick. But then I found myself liking him. So he had this charm about him, because he was so damn cocky. And in the movie, he basically is someone equivalent to, well, he created the world's most popular search engine. So you can imagine he was really rich, and so he was also a genius and somewhat of a recluse. So you get this dynamic personality that, that you can't help but want to watch.
Yeah.
And then when he breaks into some of that dancing, it was pretty freaking cool.
Right.
That's when I thought, okay, this guy's kind of cool. And the actor just did an amazing job, so.
My very first thought in the movie when the Caleb character is first introduced to the compound that he's staying in and given this key and said it'll open some doors and it won't open others, my very first thought is, oh, this is Bluebeard. And in fact, it's clearly very conscientiously playing on the Bluebeard legend.
Well, also I mean, it could be a frightening concept to be this kid and being sent to this location and almost feel like you're isolated and putting all your trust into your boss, and everything he's telling you is truth. And of course, as the movie progresses, things don't appear what they seem.
Right.
And I think there's this sense of dread throughout the movie, because I didn't think of it as in a horror in such a way that you did, but it was kind of it was kind of trippy. That's the best way I can describe it, because it's like artificial intelligence. I mean, when as a kid growing up, I saw Westworld with Yul Brynner, and that left an impact on me. And from that point on, I just when I hear the word robot, it's not just the guy I'm Robbie the robot. No, it's more human-like and has thoughts and convictions, and that's kind of what I saw with this movie. The robots were human-like.
Yeah, that's true. It definitely had its quality of keeping you wondering what's really going on the whole time. What is everybody's real motivations?
Yep.
There's a lot of mystery and question about it the whole way through. That is certainly
And it also
true.
put out questions of ethics too. I mean, at what point is it safe to say? I mean, in some way, this was Frankenstein recreated again.
Right.
I mean, that's how it's just another storytelling of Frankenstein. At what point does man stop playing God? And what time, where is the line they do not cross? And of course, the line keeps on moving forward,
Right, and certainly, like, say, for instance, you do create an artificial intelligence that's intelligent enough to be believably intelligent that it cares about its own survival, but maybe it's not 100% there. Is it okay to wipe that AI and create a new one?
In the circumstances? Hell yes. Well, I think, and again, that's why I say in our lifetime, I can see something of this nature. If it already hasn't happened already, I mean, you have code that will learn based off, cause and effect. And so these programs that they're developing nowadays learn off that trends and things. So that's basically what we do as humans. We learn from stimuli and we just respond to that. And that's basically what you have with this artificial intelligence. But I got to tell you, I absolutely love this movie. I felt in any direction it turned, I was going to be okay with, because up to that point of the end, it was such a fresh approach on this, on that Frankenstein narrative. Because you've seen it done many times in the past, but it never had such a smart way of explaining, what it is to be a god. And I really enjoyed it all the way to the end. And as Noah, as you mentioned earlier, it took a turn at the end, which I think it's okay though. It's not I don't think ultimately it's not that resolve that many people want. And it certainly actually added to that sense of dread at the end of the movie, for sure. I felt like I needed to watch something a little happier.
Right.
But I wouldn't mistake that for a flaw either. But
yeah, I mean, so what I would say about it is that it's a very well constructed film. It's very engaging. It's very thought provoking, but you do have to be wanting to at least be prepared to be disturbed.
I got to tell you, in the future, every robot looks like Ava. Woo. Yeah.
There is always that.
Yeah, we won't go there. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. In fact, I've recommended it to a couple friends and saying, that they had asked. I recommended it with the highest recommendation that I can give, because I absolutely loved it. And in fact, as of 2015, I would have to say it's right now my favorite movie I've seen this early in the year. So I'm sure that'll change, but.
And certainly if you're somebody who's intrigued by something like Battlestar Galactica, or particularly the show Caprica, if that is a sort of theme that really appeals to you, this is something that does it in a very simple, straightforward, but really intellectually gripping way.
I just hope this movie gets seen by people. I mean, you hear the Fast and Furious 7 just beating the crap out of all the other movies in the blockbuster and in the charts. You think that kind of movie, which has been done over 7 times now, and then you see a movie like this being made and it doesn't get distributed in the same way. It's just like you just want this movie to be, have a chance to be seen.
Yeah, I certainly hope that this film does well. It's something that is worthy of getting an audience.
And that's not to say I'm dishing on Fast and Furious. It's just not for me. But again, I don't want to get the wrong idea. But anyway.
All right, so that's our review of X Machina, and we will see you next time for Slice of Sci-Fi.
And go watch this movie. I'm telling you, it's worth it.